Hey guys, that might give me back here for that video. Guys, today we're going to break down throwing style animations. A lot of people do not know about throwing styles and they get confused whenever someone says it, or I say in my video, someone's like, wait, what? How is this guy better than this guy because of throwing style? So let's go ahead and break it down for you guys. Now, this will be MUT related content, meaning this will be about MUT. This all around is about Madden, but this strictly will reflect about the cards in MUT. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, though, let's talk about the fastest throwing animation in the game, throwing style. Throwing style and animation, same thing. But anyway, though, it's going to go ahead and be Slinger 1. Now, Slinger 1 only is able to be gotten on 2 players. Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Now, Slinger 1, you guys can see right here, this is the throwing style. It is fast, it is precise, it is actually the best throwing style in the game. Now, how is it dictated that this is the best throwing style versus other throwing styles? Because obviously every throwing style does matter, but again, what it comes down to is, are they going to be good enough? So right here, you guys can see we do have a chart. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys, but you guys are going to see we do have a chart right here. Now, this chart actually lets us be able to see all the throwing styles and how fast the ball comes out of your hand when you are using this typical throwing style. So for example, you guys can see, you look at the average right here on the left hand side, you can see how fast that ball comes out of the quarterback's hands, and right there, Slinger 1 is hitting at 0.820, which is the fastest animation in the game possible. We're going to be breaking down which quarterbacks get which in 1 second, but as you guys can see right there, traditional 5 is 1.225, which is the worst throwing animation in the game. That's actually what Dan Marino and Josh Allen Justin Herbert have, not Josh Allen. Justin Herbert and Dan Marino have traditional 5, which is the worst throwing style in the game. And again, the only quarterbacks who get Slinger 1, which is the best, is going to be Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. So now let's go ahead and break this down even farther. So yes, again, like I said, best throwing style in the game right here. But the next throwing style we have that's the best in the game is actually by another quarterback who actually just retired. And it's going to go ahead and be not the Chargers. He played for the Colts. Yeah, Colts last year. It's actually Phillip Rivers is the number 2 best throwing style animation in the game, and that's traditional 2. So traditional 2 is going to be the second best throwing animation in the game. It comes in at 0.917 seconds it takes to throw the ball. As you guys can see, it's kind of a weird animation. It's a weird style, but this is the second best in the game because of the time it takes to throw this. Now, keep in mind, all this data is being presented without having Gunslinger. That's very important. Also, I want to go ahead and just shout out the person who made this. Skunksky, I think his name is, on Mutthead, but this was courtesy of Mutt Leaks on Twitter and the Marksman 13. So shout out to both of those guys for posting this content. Anyway, though, traditional 2 is the second best throwing style. It does come in at 0.91. Let me make sure I get that correct. It comes in at 0.917, which is the second fastest. Now, the only quarterback to get this is Phillip Rivers. So if you want to rock this animation, this throw style, you have to have Phillip Rivers. No other quarterback gets this. Now, the next throwing style we're going to talk about, guys, is going to go ahead and be generic 2. Now, this is where you get your Randall Cunningham, your RG3, and your Daniel Jones, which if you take Daniel Jones, you make him 99 overall, and then you take a quarterback like, Namath. Oh, not Namath, sorry. Dan Marino, and you make, Dan Marino, you make him a 99. Daniel Jones will always be better because of his throwing style. And his throwing style is actually generic 2. This is the same throwing style we see with Randall Cunningham, this new RG3 coming out tomorrow, and Daniel Jones. This throwing style is very, very fast. This throwing style does come in at a 0.917 .950 on speed ratio. So again, just getting the ball out of your hand. This is not with Gunslinger. This is just by itself. Absolute monster when it comes to getting the ball in your hands. Now, the fourth one we're going to talk about here, guys, is going to go ahead and be a throwing in a style that only one quarterback has, and that's Lamar Jackson. No other quarterback has this throwing style, and that's Generic 3. Now, Generic 3 is going to go ahead and be just like you see on the screen. Generic 3 comes in at .964 and very, very good throwing style. Again, it is the fourth fastest throwing style in the game. Very, very nice. All right, so the next one we have here is going to go and be Slinger 2. Now, you might think Slinger 1, Slinger 2 should be back and back, and it's not. It's farther from the truth. Just is not the thing. And actually, wait, no, my bad. We're not going to do Slinger 2 yet. We're going to do Traditional 1 next. Traditional 1 actually is on quarterbacks like Tom Brady. It's also on quarterbacks like Doug Williams and Joe Montana. And that's going to go ahead and be Mr. Traditional 1. Traditional 1 looks like this, and Traditional 1 is going to go ahead and come in at .990 of a second for the release time to get the ball off. So again, absolutely great throwing style. But again, like I said, the higher up you list you can get, the better. That's why, again, a lot of people love the Aaron Rodgers, guys. A lot of people love the Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people love that Randall Cunningham, that Lamar Jackson, because they're really high up on the threshold when it comes to the throwing style animation. Now we're kind of in the middle of the pack right now with Mr. Brady with his Traditional 1, and this is why, because it's slowly going down the list here. Now, next one we have here is going to go ahead and be what Michael Vick, Jimmy G, and Baker Mayfield has, and that's going to be Slinger 2, which is, let me see, 49ers, and this is this throwing animation right here. Now, this throwing animation is not bad. It's not like the worst throwing animation. It's definitely getting down there, though, on the bad categories, because it does come in at .994 of a second thrown. So, again, it is fast, but you have to keep in mind it's less than a second, but at the same time, though, people coming in on touch, people coming in at the quarterback, you need to get the ball out fast, and this is going to be literally what's it called? Increase. It's going to be a 22.6% increase from Slinger 1. So this comes out 22.6% slower than Slinger 1 does. Let that sink in, just let that sink in for a second. Next one we have here is going to go ahead and be Traditional 3, and this is actually only one player has this. It's a New Orleans Saints quarterback, and it's going to be Drew Brees. He's the only one who has Traditional 3. Now, Traditional 3 comes in at a very slow 1.010 of a second, or 1 second, pretty much 1 second, pretty much. This is 23.5% faster or slower than Slinger 1, so it's 23.5% slower than Aaron Rodgers' throwing animation, throwing style, and again, 1.010. Again, a little bit slower there. Traditional 4 is Big Ben, Johnny Unitas, and Daniel Culpepper, and that's going to go ahead and be, I'm going to show you guys real fast. It's going to go ahead and be this throwing style right here. Now, Traditional 4 is very, very slow. It does come in at 1.061 of a second. It also is 29.2% slower than Slinger 1, which again is the best in the game. So again, very, very slow with this Big Ben. Now we have Generic 1. Now, Generic 1 is Josh Allen, Derek Carr, Dak Prescott, Alex Smith, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and like 90% of other quarterbacks in the game. There's a lot of quarterbacks with Generic 1. It's a very, very popular type of throwing animation in the game for a lot of quarterbacks, and as I just said, all those quarterbacks apply. Now, Generic 1 is going to come in at 1.071 of a second. That is very, very slow. 31% slower than Slinger 1. Yeah. Very, very slow. 90% of quarterbacks have this, guys. So probably your quarterback you're rocking right now probably has this throwing style or throwing animation. Slinger 3 is our next one up, and this is actually only on 2 different players. This is going to be on Patrick Mahomes, and it's going to be on Matthew Stafford. Now, this throwing style, as you guys are going to see on your screen, is Slinger 3. I honestly, I don't really hate the throwing style. Not my favorite, but it's very slow. It does come in at 1.078 of a second, and it is 32.6% slower than Slinger 1. So if you guys are looking at all these and you're like, oh, these kind of look all the same. It's very close number-wise, like how long it took to throw the ball. But keep in mind, this is 32.6% slower than Slinger 1, than Mr. Aaron Rodgers throwing animation. Slinger 4 is going to be only a 1 quarterback. That is Rich Gannon. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what this looks like because we don't have Rich Gannon in actual regular teams. But I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. Slinger 4 is... Actually, is it even on here? It might not even be on here. All right, so it's not even on here. That's how slow it is. No, that's not how slow it is. It's just not on here. That's actually kind of weird, though. I expected it to be on here. But it does come in at 1.107, which is 37% slower than Slinger 1. Our final last one is going to be the one that Justin Herbert, Joe Namath, and Dan Marino rocks, and that's going to go ahead and be Traditional 5. Now, Traditional 5, like I said, is the worst throwing style in the game. This is going to come in at a 1.225 seconds throwing style, and it is a whopping 50.2%. Let that sink in there. 50.2% slower than Slinger 1. Guys, this is why so many people went crazy when Aaron Rodgers got a new card. That's why so many people went crazy when Brett Favre got a card, he was over 1 million coins. He's a quarterback. Over 1 million coins. We haven't seen that in a while. Because of the throwing animation Slinger 1. That's why Randall Cunningham was expensive. Because he had a really good throwing animation. Throwing animation, throwing style, you might not think much of it, but trust me, when the guy's coming in on touch or just throwing the ball in accurate places, throwing style really does matter. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.